Barak had a military understanding of we getting ready to go fight. And can't none of you folk fight. How many of y'all ever took somebody to a fight that couldn't fight? Wasn't going to fight? No, you going to stay here because you're going to be in the way. He understood what he was up against. What Deborah helped him to understand is whatever we're up against is never bigger than the God we serve. Never bigger than the God we serve. And so the confidence that he got through Deborah was the reassuring fact God had already worked this out before it even started. He knew the army was going to get all disconfigured and everything. The Lord already knew that. But here's the key lesson, the part of this lesson is I closed, really got my attention. In verse 16. In verse 16 it says, but Barak pursued after the chariot. What a change of positions. From being hesitant about not going, and after he saw what God could do, he went after him. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of us. It reminds me of us. There is some Barak in every one of us. We are hesitant about what God can do until God starts doing it. And when God starts doing it, you can't beat us saying, won't he do it? But prior to that, we talk, I don't know why I have to cry sometimes. It shows us that when God is the one that's orchestrating everything, he doesn't need an additional help from us. I've read this lesson. Only God could do this, and God tells Deborah to tell Barak, now listen, you're going to do all this, but somebody else is going to get the credit for the battle. He said, listen, I'll go if you go with me. It wasn't that he was a coward. That's not it. That's not it. He's just like a lot of us. A lot of us, we can believe God, but if somebody come along and give us a little nudge, a little encouragement, our understanding and our strength is intensified. You know what? I'm close. Most of us are real good at giving people encouragement when they're going through. You just got to trust the Lord. You just got to hold on to God's unchanging hand. You just got to be strong in the Lord and in the power of his strength. We can tell people, but when it's us, child, I don't know what I'm going to do. But when the Lord sends somebody to us to remind us of the very same thing we've told other people, you know, I've done a lot of eulogies, and I remember well having to do my dad's eulogy. And I had a pastor to tell me, because I was so down after, he said, Pastor, let me tell you something. The very same thing you tell other people about God, you got to let it work for you now. You got to let it work for you. You've told other people it'll work for them. Now you got to let it work for you. Oftentimes we are surprised by who God uses. And the reason why we are surprised by who God uses is because we're simple. Because God can take ordinary people and do extraordinary things. But we get so conflicted about who it is instead of what's being done through them. And when God is doing the work, there's nothing you can do about it anyway. So God chose to do the work through Barak, but he used Deborah. This be a messed up world if it wasn't complete. I don't want to live in no world where it's all men. All men. I don't need to live in no world with all men. Men is not cute to me. don't need to be in no world just men. We're gonna get rid of all the women in the church. Well, I'm going to. I'm leaving too. No, listen, I'm leaving. I won't be back no more. And so we have to understand how God intentionally does things. God understands that in his work,